Okay. So, good evening to all esteemed members of Team RFI, distinguished schedule expert Dr. Chanchala Jain ma'am, and dear participants. A warm welcome to all of you for the 10-day training program and faculty development program on advanced tools and techniques for research methodology. Today marks the sixth day of our journey focusing on the theme of application of Excel for data analysis. This program is organized by the STEAM Institute of Marketing and Management Delhi, Research Foundation of India, and RFI-CARE in association with BPIT. This program is generously sponsored by renowned organizations including Eklavya University, JHERF, Academic Research Guide Association, and Edu Academic Inc. Before moving ahead, it is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed expert for today, Dr. Chanchala Jain ma'am, an assistant professor at Prestige Institute of Management and Research in Indore. She is an author, research expert, and academician with over 11 years of experience in management and commerce. She is the co-founder of Urja Counseling and Training Indore and also serves as the co-coordinator of IQAC at PIMR Indore. As a research expert and trainer, she has conducted numerous workshops and FDPs on SPSS module, research paper writing, and analysis through our programming. She has completed a research project in the medical field presented before the Central Ministry and has chaired and co-chaired various conferences. With over 10 years of rich research experience, she has an impressive portfolio of more than 42 research papers published in various Scopus indexed national and international journals. She has presented research papers in more than 20 conferences and received 5 Best Paper Awards at JIMS Delhi, Pacific University, Udaipur, and 3 at Prestige Institute, Indore. Under her guidance, 4 research scholars are pursuing their PhD degrees, and she has supervised over 500 students in their major and minor research projects. So now I would like to invite Dr. Chanchala ma'am to please begin her presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Neha ma'am. I hope I'm clearly audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So at the onset, I must extend my sincere gratitude to the RFI and Ajay Jain sir, all entire RFI family, especially Neha Jain ma'am today, for giving the introduction of mine and introducing me to the participants. Thank you so much, Neha ma'am, and all the members of RFI. So I think now I can start directly with the session of the day. Today I need to deliver a session on hypothesis development, formulation and development, right? So may I know how many of you are knowing that what is the meaning of hypothesis? Do you have any idea what is hypothesis? Anyone?
Assumption.
Initial assumptions what we are making before the research that we are mentioning.
Very correct. Very correct. Very correct. So it's nothing but it's a assumption or the statement, tentative statement which we are formulating, and then by collecting the data, we are testing that whether the statement or the assumption which we have taken is correct or incorrect, right? Whether the data is supporting it or not supporting it. This is the thing, right? But when we talk about how to develop a hypothesis, so that means it is not like it's a one-day process. It's a very lengthy process. And in that process, what things we need to do, that I'll try to explain you, right? So I hope my slides are visible. Any confirmations?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So moving ahead, just a minute. Yes. So I'll start generally when we talk about our research, right? So I think this is the day 6 or 7, I hope. So maybe people are having the idea about that from where we need to start the research. Generally, we can say we need to have certain idea. Generally, our idea maybe we can say the foundation of starting the research, right? So from where the idea can come? Idea can come from the observations, or it can come from the literature review, right? Observation means we can scan and identify we are experiencing something in our organization or in our home or nearby us. We can feel something, observe something, experience something, and that way we can say that can become the idea and it can lead to a research, right? So that is the one aspect. Second aspect is using the literature review. So we know literature searches and review is what means. Maybe we are having some of the variables in the mind, and maybe we can keep those variables or keyword on in the any of the databases, and we can find the relevant researches, right? And then we can see that suppose I have gone through the literature review of last 5 years for a particular using particular variables or keywords, right? So maybe I can say, suppose brand loyalty and the customer satisfaction. Maybe I can say these are the two variables I have identified. Suppose, and then I have tried to identify in the last 5 years what were the researches done on this particular area, and then after getting some of the research papers, I think we can make certain criteria, filtering criteria. Using that, you can decide which type of papers you need to download. Maybe you can decide that I will read all the Scopus paper, or maybe anything that is the your lookout. Accordingly, that you need to download those papers, you need to read those papers, and then you can come to that particular point that till particular date or year, maybe this particular area was not touched in the domain which you are looking for. Say for example, customer satisfaction and brand loyalty, right? So in that, what type of things were carried on by the previous researcher that you can do easily, that you can do by reading the literature. Then further, what you can do, you can decide upon that till date this particular area is not touched, has been touched by the previous researchers. So that can become your problem statement or statement of problem, right? And means using your observations or using your literature review or the researches, you can reach to the problem statement. That problem statement will help you out to raise certain questions. So that means you can formulate your research questions, and that way these research questions help us to translate the questions into the hypothesis, right? So this way, it is not a one day, what I can say, process. It takes time, because literature review is in itself is a very tiring and time consuming process. So you need to be patient, and then you need to find some better researches and you need to read that, and that way you can identify what are the problem area which were not being tested by the previous researchers, and then they can help you to formulate your research questions, and in turn to that you can convert them into the hypothesis form. So say for example, I am suppose a few of the questions I have written here. I think these are the very what I can say related to the real world phenomena. So first is, does burnout lead to low productivity? Right, this is from the HR field. Suppose this is a question. Suppose I am working in any organization where I am where I am experiencing this thing, that some of the people, those who are in a stress, level of stress, right? And that way, whether the burnout is leading to their low productivity or something like that. So that can be a research question. Second, whether sales is affected by customer satisfaction. Again, I think it is a quite what I can say, experiencing that when the customer will not be satisfied from a particular brand or product, it is quite obvious he or she may switch from that particular brand or product to some other, right? So that way, it is quite obvious that sales will be affected. So these are the very common things which I have written. Next, what parameters should be taken care while investing in a stock market, right? So when I talk about the finance field, suppose I want to invest my money in a market. So what things I need to keep in my mind while investing in the stock market? So that can be the another question. Next, does GDP impact growth of a country? Next, our loyalty and satisfaction. Here you can see, I think I haven't seen my PPTs. I think after a month or something, I have seen my PPT, but still I think I have given you the same example about the loyalty and the satisfaction. So you can read, are loyalty and satisfaction have any relationship? Fine. Next, whether brand recognition impacts the sales of the brand. Does weather impact the stock market? Likewise. So these can be the sum of the observations, or maybe you have done the literature review, and from there you have these certain questions you are able to raise, right? So these questions can help you to formulate your hypothesis, right? Now, talking about what are the approaches which can help us to develop the hypothesis. So there are two approaches. The first one is the inductive approach. Inductive approach means, here you can see it will start from here: confirmation, then observation, then hypothesis, then theory. I think this arrow should be reversed. I will do that. I think that will otherwise create the, it should be something like this, right? So please, yeah, right? Okay, yeah. So now you can see we are starting from here: confirmation, then it is leading to observation, observation leading to hypothesis, and hypothesis will help you to develop a theory. Means we are not having any particular theory in this particular case. What we are doing, we are confirming the things firstly. We can say these are becoming your observations. Observations are helping you to formulate your hypothesis. Once you are testing your hypothesis and it is approved, it becomes your theory, right? So this is an inductive approach, which is starting from here to here, right? Second is the deductive approach, which will start from where it will. I think you can please reverse if you are. I will do if maybe many of you, maybe possibilities there. You people are capturing the fix, right? So I'm doing this for you so that fine. So right. Oh, F5. Yeah. Now you can see this will start from theory. Means suppose I am taking a theory of Maslow's hierarchy. I don't know how many of you are aware about the Maslow's hierarchy. Anyone? Anyone who has
Yes,
heard about Maslow's hierarchy?
it is a very famous motivational theory, and it says
Right.
that there are 5 layers.
Yes.
So once the top bottom layer gets satisfied, we move up the hierarchy. So it goes like physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, self-esteem needs, and the top one is the self-actualization
Self-actualization.
needs.
Very correct. Thank you so much, ma'am. So here the meaning is what? Suppose we are having a theory in hand. Priorly, some any of the person or expert of a field has developed a particular theory, and we are making it a base, right? So it is quite obvious when we are in any organization, and I think this we can also experience if we are getting a salary, and the salary is, suppose whatever salary I'm getting, and I'm not able to meet my even basic requirements, right? So it is quite obvious I will be dissatisfied, right? So that way you need to see which theory you are using, and using that theory you are making or proposing any hypothesis. Then you're observing the same thing, that whatever hypothesis you have made, whether it is there actually in the particular environment or not. And then what you do, you are confirming it, you are collecting the data, and then you are testing your hypothesis, whether whatever the hypothesis you have formulated using the theory, whether it is what I can say, backed by the data or not, it is approved by the data or not, or your data is supporting your hypothesis or not. That is the correct word, supporting, right? So whether the data is supporting your hypothesis or not. If it is supporting, that means whatever theory you have considered to formulate your hypothesis, that means it is relevant in the present particular scenario wherever you are working, or from where in whatever particular environment you are you want to apply that particular theory and hypothesis, right? So that way, this is the second approach, that is the deductive, which starts from theory and ends at the confirmation. So from theory you will draw your hypothesis. From the hypothesis you will observe the thing in the environment, then collect the data. Observation means you will collect the data, and then you will confirm it, means you will test your hypothesis here, and if your test or your results are supporting your hypothesis, that means this is basing your theory also, right? So that way, these are the two approaches using that we can formulate the hypothesis. Either you can take the help of theory and then you can confirm your hypothesis, or you can make confirmation firstly and then you can develop a particular theory, right? Now, further, I tried to take here one theory or model which is from the field of, if you can read, the model name is technology acceptance model, right? So this is saying that perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. Firstly, I'm only reading the name of the variables and then we will see the connection, right? So first one is perceived usefulness, second is perceived ease of use, next is intention to use, and next one is actual use, right? So perceived ease of use is leading to perceived usefulness, right? Then perceived ease of use is leading to intention to ease. Also, the perceived usefulness is leading to intention to use, and this is leading to actual use. This is the model which is already available in the theories. And I think in most of the research papers, if you will find the research papers on TEM model, you will get so many papers in various field. You can apply this particular model in any of the brand, you can pick and you can apply this particular type of things. Means marketing, usually you can use this type of models, right? So that way you can see this particular model is talking about. So on the basis of this, you can make your hypothesis. Connection can be perceived usefulness and intention to use. If perceived usefulness is high, it is quite obvious that intention to use will also be high. So there can be a positive type of relationship between these two. And likewise, so how many hypotheses here it is possible to make? Can anyone tell me? Okay, there can be the one, two, three,
Four
four
hypotheses.
possibilities. Four
Yes.
possibilities, right? Relationship between these two, relationship between this and this, relationship between this and this, and relationship between these two. So that way, we can formulate total four hypotheses. Then using that, you can collect the data, and then you can test whether your hypotheses are supported by your data or not. Further, I think this is one more model of the same thing. Means this is the model, this is the basic model, this is the next model. Here you can see that the perceived usefulness, means how you can measure this perceived usefulness. For that, you can find subjective norms, image, job relevance, right? Output quality, result demonstrability, right? And then talking about experience, is contributing to your subjective norms, likewise. So this model is again one more extended model for the TEM, right? Or the TEM theory, right? So that way, you need to firstly, means it is not like the model you have picked from a particular means if you will go on the Google, if you will do the Google, you will easily find this particular model, right? But thing is, in the literature also, you need to search this model, you need to see in which particular context you're talking this particular model, and then you need to see what are the results which were reported by the previous researchers, right? So it is very, very important for us. So that way, it is not like, means if you are knowing a model, you can easily apply it. You need to see the literature also, whether the model has been used by a particular researchers, and if yes, what were the results they have got, something like that, right? Further, talking about, there is one more model. This image I have taken from the Google. So this image is for the circle model. I think maybe those who are from the marketing field, they are knowing this model. This is service quality model, right? And I think we know nowadays this is an era of services, and we are experiencing this thing that it is very difficult to tangibilize the service. We cannot tangibilize the service. We can only experience it, right? So there is a model given by Purserman and his colleagues. So this model is saying that there are 5 dimensions to measure these services: tangibility or the tangibles, empathy, reliability, availability, and assurance, right? So using these 5 dimensions, we can service qualities, right? So again, you can make it a base and you can write your own paper on this particular model. talking about the process of development of hypothesis. So generally this starts from the first step is ask a question. Suppose the question is, do students who attend more lectures get better exam results? Suppose this is the question. Then do some preliminary researches. So suppose this is the question. So what I need to do, I need to find particular theories which were be already maybe available, or maybe the previous studies has used those theories. So it is quite possible some of the researches were done which are talking about this thing, that if students are attending more classes or more lectures, so might be possible their scores are better, right? So I need to find if some of the studies are available in the particular literature that will help me to discuss my results or to write my literature, right? So that is why you need to do the preliminary research. You need to find certain theories, you need to find certain studies which are talking about these types of things. Then you need to then what you need to do, then you need to do the develop your conceptual framework. Conceptual framework will be nothing but it will be the combination of your variables. Using those variables you will show that in which variables you want to, me suppose might be possible I am having or I can say the previous model. If I say, right, this is nothing but this is a conceptual model, right? This is a conceptual framework, conceptual model, right? So that way you need to define that. Suppose these are the two variables I said, brand loyalty, I said customer satisfaction, right? So customer satisfaction is again a variable which I cannot directly measure. So I need to write how I will measure that. So I need to show how many dimensions or how many items are there. Similarly, for brand loyalty also I need to do same type of exercise. Or might be possible I need to find this thing. There can be some other variables also which are existing. Maybe there is no direct relationship, but might be possible there is an indirect relationship is existing between these two variables. So that way, whatever I'm saying here, it is not like whatever you are perceiving that you can also write in your conceptual framework. No, you always go for the literature review. In literature, you need to find, suppose my two variables are brand loyalty and customer satisfaction. So whether some researches have been conducted on this on these particular variables. If yes, what type of models will be proposed by the researchers? And looking them, you can talk about your study, right? So that way you need to develop your conceptual framework. Further, you need to talk about the operationalization. Meaning is what? Whatever the key terms or the variables you have taken, you need to define them, right? Say for example, I'm saying here that those students who attend more lectures get better exam results. Means I'm talking about here the performance. So I need to clearly mention this thing, that how I'm going to measure the performance, or what is the meaning of performance to me in this particular research. Maybe the internal marks and the external marks of the students can be used to measure the performance of the student. So likewise, I need to define properly that how I'm measuring my variables, right? Then you will formulate your hypothesis when you are okay with the previous step. That is, you are having the theories, or you have gone through the previous researches, you have developed your own conceptual framework, you have defined your variables. In that way, you will go and you will formulate your hypothesis. But formulation of hypothesis is not like that it is okay. Further, you can refine your hypothesis. And again, how you can refine your hypothesis? Again, you need to see whatever variables you have taken, which are they are relevant or not, you can measure them properly or not. Then you need to see the specific group being studied or not. This is in terms of demographic profiles, right? You need to see all these things. Then the predicted outcome of the experiment or analysis, means what will be the outcome. Suppose your hypothesis is accepted or rejected, so what will the outcome become? So whether the outcome is relevant or not, so everything you need to check here in the refinement of your hypothesis. Then after doing that, if you are finding some problem or something, you can rephrase your hypothesis, right? And then generally, if I talk about, hypothesis can be in the form of difference, relationship, and impact form. That means there is no significant difference, there is no significant relationship, there is no significant impact, something like that, right? Then we will write our final hypothesis. Further, talking about what are the characteristics of the good hypothesis. So is the language clear and focused? You need to see this. Your language should be very clear and concise. It should not be, there should be some ambiguity in the statement of the hypothesis which you are making. It should be totally or fully focused on whatever you want to measure, right? Then what is the relationship between the hypothesis and the research topic? So it is very, very important. It is not like, suppose I am saying I study on customer satisfaction and brand loyalty, and suppose I am coming in the hypothesis part and I am writing there is no significant difference in the perception of customer towards the product, suppose. So that way you need to be very, very what I can say, logical, or you need to follow all the steps properly. You need to see, means always there is a link. Whatever is your topic, it will be help you to raise your questions, means whatever questions you are raising, it should be related to your topic. Then further, your objectives should be related to your questions. Hypothesis should be related to your objective. So there is a link, right? So always whatever variables you're talking about in your title, they should be discussed or they should be used in your hypothesis. Might be possible, suppose you have written these are the, suppose customer satisfaction and brand loyalty, but further you are taking certain dimensions of these two of the variables. In that case, it is okay if you are clearly writing that these are the 5 dimensions found in the literature, or maybe you have explored these dimensions, something like that. That way you can use those type of things in your hypothesis. Further, is your hypothesis testable? It is a very important thing. It is not like whatever variables you are talking about in your hypothesis, you are unable to test them, right? So you need to see clearly whatever variables you are taking, you need to, or you need to in a position to define them properly. They should be means you need to have the operational definition of them. If your variables will be defined properly, you know how to measure them. In that case, you means this type of question will not be raised for you, right? Then what are the possible explanations that you might want to explore? You need to see this thing also while formulating your hypothesis, that whether whatever hypothesis you have formulated, it is able to explain the possibilities or not, right? Means what means it is quite obvious, whatever the possible outcomes can come from your study, you need to see these things. Your hypothesis should also um, what I can say, also your hypothesis should also address those type of possibilities, right? Then does your hypothesis include both an independent and dependent variable? It is very important. Always there should be the combination of independent and dependent variable in your hypothesis. Further, can you manipulate your variables without hampering the ethical standards? So maybe for the might be possible your data is not leading or maybe analysis is not coming properly, or your results are not that much up to the mark or something like that. And if you are making any changes in your variables, you need to see this thing that no ethical standard should be violated of the research, right? So you need to do everything in the ethical boundary of the research. Then does your research predict the relationship and outcome? You need to see this, whatever hypothesis you have formulated, it is able to predict any relationship or not, or it is giving you any outcome or not. Then is your research simple and concise? Means is your hypothesis simple and concise? Then is it clear with no ambiguity or assumptions about the reader's knowledge? So means whatever things here in these particular slides are written, the meaning of them is very simple. Is that your hypothesis should be simply worded. First thing, it should be it should include properly the variables, independent and dependent. You would be able to define them properly, and then you should be able to measure them properly. It is not like no scale is available and you are unable. Means in suppose you are writing you are pursuing a PhD, suppose, right? You have formulated a hypothesis, and then that is at the stage of synopsis. Suppose you have formulated in hurry a particular hypothesis, and then when you are actually doing your PhD after your all coursework and all, when you are now starting your work on your thesis, and then you realize that you are unable to measure a particular variable because no scale is available, or you don't know how to measure it. So that is why at the primary stage only you need to decide what are your variables. You need to define your variables clearly. You need to see how you can measure, right? So because why I'm saying why how you need to measure, because many a time there is possibility whatever variables you are taking, there is no proper scale is available. In that case, you will stuck and you will not get a particular solution that how to measure now. So that is why at a preliminary stage only you need to do all these type of things or searching and everything, and then you need to formulate your hypothesis. This way your journey will be very easier, right? Now talking about here, I tried to make certain questions, research questions, and then using that try to develop certain hypothesis, and then we have finalized the hypothesis so that you can see what are the health benefits of eating an apple a day. I think we all have listened one what I can say phrase that eating an apple a day keeps doctor away, something like that, right? Suppose this is a research question. Hypothesis can be increasing apple consumption in over 60s will result in decreasing frequency of doctor's visit. Suppose this is my hypothesis. So this is a hypothesis, but it's not correctly worded. So maybe I can make my null hypothesis as increasing apple consumption in over 60s will have no effect on frequency of doctor's visit, right? So there you can find clearly, this is showing you clearly a indication or direction that the frequency of doctor's visit will not increase if you are having a consumption of apple in the age of above 60 or something like that, right? Second can be which airlines have the most delays. The hypothesis can be low cost airlines are more likely to have delays than premium airlines, right? So might be possible the null hypothesis can be there is no significant difference in the mean delay time between low cost and premium cost airlines. Then can flexible work arrangements improve job satisfaction? So maybe hypothesis can be employees who have flexible working hours will report greater job satisfaction than employees who work fixed hours. So might be possible I can say this thing, there is no relationship between working hour flexibility and job satisfaction, right? Then how effective is high school sex education at reducing teen pregnancies? So might be possible. My hypothesis is teenagers who received sex education lessons throughout high school will have lower rates of unplanned pregnancy than teenagers who did not receive any sex education. Or simply I can say that high school sex education has no effect on teen pregnancy rates. Last, what effect does daily use of social media have on the attention span of under 16s? So might be possible, hypothesis can be, there is a negative correlation between time spent on social media and attention span in under 16s. So null hypothesis, there is no relationship between social media uses, I think it should be uses, and attention span in under 16s. So friends, means these all are nothing but these are the observations, right, which we have formulated in the form of research questions. Then using these research questions we try to formulate the hypothesis. But whether this particular hypothesis whatever I have formulated here you can check properly or not. So what we have done, we have clearly written that this hypothesis can be formulated in a better manner, in a refined manner, and these are becoming, the last column is becoming the null hypothesis. And here I can clearly identify my dependent and independent variable, and then according to the type of variable you can apply your test, right? Further, talking about here, I think this is the question for all of you, those who are here in the meeting. The question says, this is a problem which I have taken from net only. The problem is the association of the intake of fish oil has been studied in relation with heart and the brain health in adults. Further, fish oils has been found to strengthen the immune responses. However, its effect on immunity in children remains unknown. So what can be my research problem from this particular situation which I have quoted here in the slide?
Ma'am, the research problem could be to find the effect of fish oil on the immunity of children.
Very correct. Very correct. Whether the fish oil is impacting the immunity of the children. Very good. So this can be the problem. This is the observation. We know this thing that this is the observation maybe came from a particular study that the intake of fish oil is you can see has been studied in relation with the heart and the brain health in the adults. This has been studied for the brain and the heart health for the adults only. But further, fish oil has been found to, and then further what has means results were what it has been found that it is strengthening the immune system of the adults. But further, the question comes whether if we are looking for the impact of this fish oil on the immunity of the children, right? So that way, this can be one of the problem which we can say we are coming. We have gain or we have drawn from a particular environment where we are looking that means everyone is eating the fish oil, but generally studies were conducted on only the adults. So maybe we can conduct a study for the children where we can see this thing whether there is any impact of fish oil on the immunity system of the children. I hope it is clear. Right now, I think I have taken few of the research papers. Give me a second. I need to find where I have opened it. Yes. Okay. I hope my PDF is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So here, friends, why I have taken certain of the PDFs or the research papers in the PDF form. So deliberately to tell you that how generally we are working on the hypothesis development. Here you need to read firstly the question, the title of the study. The title says the effect of marketing mix on consumer satisfaction at Sinar Tarang electric stores in Medan City, right? So the effect of marketing mix, I think, can anyone tell me what are the marketing mix? It's product, price, place, promotion. I hope you people have heard. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So there are four generally marketing mixes: product, price, place, and promotion. Product, we all know. If we are going in a marketing, so we are promoting the product or services, right? Then there will be the price of a product. Then product, price, place. Place means you want to place means a market where you are retailer and wholesaler which are making the market. So there you are supplying your product. And promotion means you need to adopt any of the channels of the promotion to promoting your product, to creating the awareness and to attract the customers, right? So these are the 4 P's. So we want to see the effect of marketing on the customer satisfaction, right? I'm going down directly. Yeah. Here I'm talking about firstly, if I talk about the literature review, you can see here, this literature is talking about customer satisfaction, marketing mix, and 4 things: product, price, promotion, and places, location, right? Now you can see the 5 hypotheses which are written. Okay. I think after all the variables, I hope I'm clear what I said. You need to see firstly the variables of the title. Variables are marketing mix and customer satisfaction. It is okay. May I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So further you can see in the literature, the authors have talked about these variables: customer satisfaction, marketing mix. I told you 4 marketing mix: product, price, promotion, and in place of place, it is using location. This particular study is using location, right? Using these things, you can see this is a research framework which says marketing mix impacting the satisfaction. That is product, price, promotion, and location are impacting the customer satisfaction. Now you can see the hypothesis which says products have a positive and significant effect on customer satisfaction at so and so store, right? Then price has a positive and significant effect on customer satisfaction at the so and so store. And likewise for the promotion and location you can find. So this way you can see these are the 4 hypothesis we have formulated. And the last one is, it is the combined of the all, or we can say that the marketing mix simultaneously, or all four are simultaneously affect the customer satisfaction. Clear to everyone?
Yes, madam.
Yes. So this is a one way of understanding. I think this was a very small effort which I have put here for the first paper. Second, I am moving now. Second says literature review, customer satisfaction, determination, and level of complaint, product quality, and service quality. Right? Moving ahead, talking about, you can find the problem formulation. This study says, does product quality affect customer satisfaction? Does quality of service affect customer satisfaction? Does product quality affect complaint level? Does the quality of service affect the level of complaints? Does customer satisfaction affect customer level, complaint level? Clear? So that way you can find all the variables were there in your title. Customer satisfaction was there, then level of complaint was there, and the two more with after the clause means this particular colon, you can find the two more variables, product quality and service quality, right? Using all these four variables, this problem formulated, this particular problem of a particular study was formulated. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Further,
Yes, madam.
yeah, further in the literature, you can find this literature is also talking about the same variables which we have talked in the title and in the problem identification, right? So that way you can see this particular thing. Moving ahead, this is the summary table which is talking about that what were the previous authors who have done the study, and you can find these are the variables listed here and talking about what type of relationship is having in the particular variables, right? Then talking about security, what is security with the article? Okay, difference with the this article. Okay. Further, it has identified what is the difference in the present and the past studies here, right? Going down, yeah, you can see the conceptual framework now. We are having four variables which we have seen in the title, that is product quality, service quality, or quality of service, customer satisfaction, complaint level. And on using your problem statement, you can see hypotheses were framed like this: product quality, complaint level, product quality, customer satisfaction, service quality, customer satisfaction, service quality and complaint level, and lastly customer satisfaction to complaint level. Fine, it is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I think it is still here only. This particular study was the base of the this study is only the literature review. So in this study they have only reached to the showing of the conceptual framework development. So that is the second one. Moving to the third one, you can find, you can check here the title firstly. What the title is saying to us? Title says just a minute. Factors affecting customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. The case of Bin Duang ceramic product, right? So you can read the title: Factors affecting customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. It is clear. The title is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Moving ahead, talking about further. So this was the title. Going down. Yeah. You need to read this para. I am increasing the size. Yeah. I am expecting you to read this particular paragraph. Reading done?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So the paragraph is saying, based on the above theory, I think we can see the theory. Just a minute. literature is talking about this particular thing. Theory was, I think you can read the questions also in what it is saying. I think I need to see. Yeah. Suppose it is saying based on the above theory, the research can note that customer satisfaction is the goal of any firm or company. It directly boosts up the company's revenue and maintain customer. Customer satisfaction indirectly attracts more customer through word of mouth and increase the repurchase intention of customer. On the ceramics extent, manufacturer in Vietnam are producing ceramics at what they think the market needs. It is not the customer want. As a result, it is important for Vietnam manufacturer to study more about the customer satisfaction as well as loyalty, right? So you need to see they are saying this thing that in Vietnam, what the practices are followed by their manufacturer, that they are talking that what is the market need. They are not looking for the customer wants, right? So that way there is a problem. Now you can see customer satisfaction measurement. That means how the satisfaction can be measured. You can see using the product quality, service quality, and price. And using these three, you can read, you can study, or you can measure the customer satisfaction. Apart from that, some situational factors can also lead the customer satisfaction, and along with that, the personal factors can also lead the lead the customer satisfaction, right? So you can read models to measure the customer satisfaction. This model was developed by these particular researchers or authors. So what they did, they have done the literature review. You can find they are talking about this literature review, right? In the literature review, they have cited what are the parameters which are leading to the customer satisfaction. Using that, they have added some more things. Maybe the situational factors can also be considered, which can lead to the customer satisfaction, and the personal factors can also impacting the customer satisfaction. Further, I think relationship between customer satisfaction and brand awareness. You can see here service quality, as I've shown you. These are the 5 dimensions taken by the authors. And then brand awareness can be calculated or measured by brand recognition and brand recall, which is leading to again customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction means if customer will be satisfied, he will be loyal to you. So this is leading to customer loyalty. And then if customer will be loyal, he will repurchase your product, and he will also do a positive word of mouth for your product. So this is a particular conceptual framework was drawn by the researchers, right? Now, proposal of the model and the hypothesis, you can find these are all the variables. You can take service quality, product quality, price, brand awareness, switching cost, and customer loyalty, customer satisfaction. And that way, hypotheses are you can say can be formulated or made. So these are the arrows which is showing this way. These are the 2 variables you can consider for making your hypothesis, right? These are the hypotheses. Customer satisfaction has a positive influence on customer loyalty. Switching cost has a positive influence on customer loyalty. Price has a positive influence on customer satisfaction. Product quality has a positive influence on customer satisfaction. Service quality has a positive influence on the customer satisfaction. And lastly, brand awareness has a positive influence on customer satisfaction. So this way, this is the next paper which is talking about this particular thing. Talking about the 4th paper. I hope 4th paper is visible to everyone, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
You can read the title firstly. This says the influence of service quality on customer satisfaction and customer behavioral intentions by moderating role of switching barriers in satellite paid TV market. So the title is very lengthy here. You need to break the title. The influence of what? Service quality on 2 things: customer satisfaction and customer behavioral intentions. So here we are having till here we are having total 3 variables. First is service quality, second is customer satisfaction, third is customer behavioral intentions, right? Now we want to see the moderating role, that how switching variables in satellite payment, satellite pay TV market, right? How these switching variables are playing the moderating role in these three variables, right? Moving ahead. Yeah, you can see their model here. This model says service quality leads to the customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction leads to the purchase intention. Also, it leads to the positive recommendation and lead to the willingness to pay more. I think it is very, very easy to understand. If quality, if you are delivering, customer will be satisfied. If he or she is satisfied, he will repurchase again and again. He will also recommend your product to the other people, and also it will means it is showing the willingness of a customer to buy your product more, right? Then there are three things which, these are the three things which are be taken as the switching variable, right? So these are the moderating variables, which is switching cost, attractiveness of the alternatives, and social ties. So might be possible that switching cost can be there, which can help or means might be possible next or competitive product is available at the lower prices. So your customer can switch from your brand to the other brand, or one some more alternative attractive items are alternatives are available in the market, which are giving you the price discount or something like that. So might be possible customer can switch from your product to the other product, or there can be certain social ties which are maybe certain factors which are not according to the customers, which can lead them to switch your your brand to the other brand, right? So that way, this is the what I can say, literature or the studies were done for the service quality and customer satisfaction. So after means I am not reading the whole paragraph, but if you will read the whole paragraph, after reading, this hypothesis can be drawn that service quality has a positive effect on the customer satisfaction. So this is one more way of the development of the hypothesis. We know this thing that we are having these two variables. We can do the literature review. We can see in the previous studies which are talking about service quality and customer satisfaction, what type of relationship they have drawn. Suppose they have drawn the relationship as there is a positive effect of quality on the satisfaction. Now you need to check whether your data is supporting this hypothesis or not, right? Further, customer satisfaction and repurchase intention. So these are the various authors you can see here. In these years, these particular studies were be carried on by them, right? And then the hypothesis was drawn as customer satisfaction has a positive effect to the repurchase intention. Similarly, customer satisfaction and positive recommendation. It is also talking about the positive effect of satisfaction on the positive recommendation. Then customer satisfaction and willingness to pay more. Then modeling effects of switching variables. So finally, the relationship between customer satisfaction and repurchase intention will be stronger for the customers who perceive a higher level of switching cost than for customers who perceive the lower level of switching cost. Means if they are switching from your product to the other product, and for them that particular thing they need to bear more switching cost, might be possible they will not switch. That is the meaning, right? So that we want to see if this type of dilemma is available, so whether it is impacting this relationship or not. And likewise for the other two moderation, you can see the two more hypotheses, right? And lastly, the relationship between the customer satisfaction and repurchase intention will be stronger for the customers who perceive a lower level of attractiveness of alternatives than for customers who perceive a high level of attractiveness of alternatives, right? So this way the hypothesis can be formulated and you can test them. Fine. So this way you can formulate your hypothesis, and these hypothesis further can be tested by you, can be checked by you after collecting the data, right? So this is the process using that we can develop the hypothesis, right? So I think this is all from my side. Now I am open for taking the question and answers. If you are having any. Yes. Yes. Anyone? No questions? I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am, I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
want to ask that all those papers which we saw right now were containing alternative hypothesis. No null hypothesis was there.
Hmm.
So when we go for hypothesis testing, we should first switch it to null hypothesis and then proceed for the test.
Ma'am, what is the sense of doing that? Always the null hypothesis is tested by us, right? So no need, if your data is not supporting me, suppose whatever is the results are coming, suppose your p-value is coming less than 0.05. So you will not select the null hypothesis. It's quite obvious. You will report the alternate hypothesis. But if suppose it is the case is reverse, suppose your data is like p-value is greater than 0.05, right? So in that case, you will write that your data is not rejecting the null hypothesis. In that case, you can conclude other way around that this will be the conclusion.
Okay. So
Yeah.
means we can for any paper we can go for either null or alternative hypothesis.
Ma'am, nowadays, I think these are the practices. If you will see, people are writing usually the alternative hypothesis. These are the research hypotheses usually people are writing, right? So if you wish, you can write, you can follow the pattern. But again, I think I'll suggest you need to always check the journal wherever you are submitting your work. If the journal is accepting such kind of study, you can follow that, right? If not, so you can go with the whatever pattern you are following.
Okay. Ma'am, one more question. Can a
Yes.
paper be left just at a stage where hypothesis has been developed but not tested?
Yeah, quite possible. If you are talking about any model or something like that, it is quite obvious you can go for that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, instead of using hypothesis, can I use question, resource question
For what?
for thesis writing in my
For?
research? In a thesis, in my research.
Sir, research questions you need to raise, but you need to convert your questions into the hypothesis. Only hypotheses are testable things. Questions are not testable.
But in our university, during my semester, they told me that you can use the research question instead of hypothesis. Nowadays, research question are using by many of the scholars. They said.
I think I haven't heard this type of thing, sir. I think this is the first time I'm listening from you. From where you are doing your PhD?
It is from Odisha.
Okay, so might be possible if sir thing is see, it is very simple thing. As I give an answer to ma'am, answer is same to you, because if we are in a particular institute and our institute are saying you to do so, in that case you need to go with the thing. But because generally you need, because it is a case of submission of the thesis, right? So if they are telling you to follow this, you need to follow, you need to talk to your guide first. If your guide is okay with it, go with that. But usually till now, I think I have just seen you need to have your hypothesis, only that way you can test the hypothesis. I haven't seen that we can test the research questions.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
I just wanted to confirm my understanding of today's thing. For example, if my independent variable is job satisfaction and the dependent variable is organizational commitment, so one of the hypotheses can be that people who have high job satisfaction are more likely to have a higher rate of organizational commitment.
It can be, ma'am, Namrata ma'am, but thing is, I will suggest you go and find in the literature first
Yes.
whether such type of results are coming or not, and such type of hypotheses are tested or not. I have shown you one of the research paper. There I shown you that in the previous studies, this type of a variable is having the positive effect or negative effect. If
Yes,
studies are saying this thing, in that case, you can formulate by giving the reference of those studies.
Okay, ma'am. And if I want to see the effect of a demographic variable like gender, so then maybe the hypothesis, can it be that females are more prone to a higher organizational commitment?
You
If
can,
it is
ma'am, you can, Namrata ma'am, as I said, you can, no problem, because I don't think so. Means I think till now, means whatever variables you selected is like, it is not like they are not tested or used by the previous researchers. Many of them, I think, already
yes.
use them, right? So it is quite obvious you will get some studies. So firstly, see those studies, and if you are finding, so that way you can reframe your hypothesis in some of the words or something like that.
Ma'am,
Rephrase your hypothesis, but you
my
need to see actually whether such kind of relationship is existing or not.
okay.
Or if suppose not existing, you can formulate, and that way in the discussion you can write, my study is saying this, but the previous studies are saying that this thing is not, the results or findings are not supported by the previous studies, and you can give the name of them.
So,
So in that,
ma'am, my question is that will there be one hypothesis or two? Like one hypothesis in the sense a simple thing that higher the JS, higher the organizational commitment, and the
ma'am,
other.
as it is always depending upon your objectives. If you want to compare this in the form of your gender, in
Yes,
that
ma'am.
case you will formulate the second one. And if the first one is, if your objective means, if you have mentioned the objective in your thesis or in the synopsis, that this is the objective which I want to test further or want to find or obtain further. If your synopsis is saying such thing, in that case you can carry forward with it. But if you have not formulated such particular objectives, so don't go in that, but talk to your guide. If she is saying you to do so, in that case you can formulate, no problem.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, if suppose some of the factors, some example I would like to quote, some various factors which will influence on buying intentions among some of the Gen Zs, right? In that case, there are some 5 to 6 factors are there. So can I able to develop, each factors on hypothesis?
Yes, you can take
So that,
from each of the factor.
yeah, is that,
Each of the factor you can make one variable, and other variable you can take. Means maybe it is possible you will be having some other variables. Using that, you can do the analysis. No problem.
yeah, in that the objectives which I have defined only 2 or 3 objectives, but hypothesis can be developed based on the variables, not on the
Yes,
objectives.
yes, yes. Means there can be the one main hypothesis that you can subdivide, or you can make certain secondary hypothesis using that. No problem in that. There can be the broad 2 variables like brand loyalty and customer satisfaction. Then suppose you are having certain factors of brand loyalty. That way you can make certain more hypotheses using brand loyalty factors and the customer satisfaction.
All right. So whenever I develop the more hypothesis, then the primary data, if I would like to collect, then the questions would be a little bit more in that case. So the the using of research, the statistical methods and tools for each things, I have to use it the different one, or how it is, ma'am? Could you please clarify on
Up
this?
to user. Usually, if you suppose I want to see the impact of one of the factor of the brand loyalty on the customer satisfaction, right? So likewise, I am interested
Yeah.
in looking all the factors, whether all the factors of brand loyalty are impacting the customer satisfaction or not. So that way my formulation of the hypothesis will be similar. So I will only use the one type of test only.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, anything else?
Any other participant?
So over to you, Neha ma'am. I think we are done for the day.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So may I leave the meeting, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. Thank you, everyone, for the patiently listening to me and interacting with me. It was an honor for me to interact with all of you. Thank you. Neha ma'am, please say and convey my gratitude to Ajay Jain sir and RFI team. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So it's time to conclude this session. But before that, I want to express my sincere appreciation to every participant. A heartfelt acknowledgement is extended to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Chanchala Jain, ma'am, for giving your invaluable time and sharing your insights. Her sessions are always commendable and extremely knowledgeable. Additionally, I extend our sincere gratitude to the organizing committee and sponsors for their support. With the profound gratitude for everyone's participation, we officially conclude today's session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. Can anyone switch on his or her camera if I want to capture the pics?